Persona 3 Reload or Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth? Persona 3 for me. Like, aren't I the biggest Persona 3 fanboy on the internet? I'm probably not, but I mean, I fucking love that game, and I'm one of the very few, well, I shouldn't say that because I don't know, but I think I've seen a lot of divisive opinions over the past few years on the original Persona 3, and I just keep calling that game a masterpiece, right? So I love Persona 3 passionately, so yeah, I'm way 10,000 times more interested in the Persona 3 remake than Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Speaking about Final Fantasy 7, the music right now under the Rotten Pizza. One of the best town themes ever. Don't know why I didn't include this on my top 50 town themes. Probably because it had copyright. The entirety of Final Fantasy 7 soundtrack, it has copyright. You can't use any song. You can use them as background and with a low volume, as long as you turn it down. But if I include any Final Fantasy 7 songs, the original soundtrack on the PS1, on my top 50s, you know, that I've been doing, I get a copyright claim. Have you played Octopath Traveler? The first one? Yes, and I beat it on the Switch, and it's a wonderful game. Freaking grindfest, man, but the story and the combat, and I mean, the graphics, everything is so freaking amazing in that game that it was worth suffering through the grinding and the job points farming, etc. Brutal game, man, but very worth playing. Best JRPG openings will be spoiler free. You are correct, but I don't really like openings. Most of them have like these idol songs that are kind of like meh. Like for example, Tales of Vesperia. Oh my god. I mean, if you like that kind of music, that's okay. I don't. I don't like idol music or idol singing, so I'm not really into JRPG openings. There are some that are really good. Let me give you one. The Spectral Souls opening. Go watch it right now if you can. That's a fantastic opening. Maybe not the cinematics are kind of like meh, but the song, man, what a blast. It'll be very hard for me to make such a video, and I don't think there's a lot of interesting, the best JRPG openings, so it's kind of bound to fail. Maybe I should just compile it without commentary, but I've seen what happens when I make videos with no commentary. Is there any game you played this year that made you feel really emotional? Yeah, Dead End Request 2. Something, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but something happens in Death End Request 2 that I got me really worried, really emotional. I was like, no. That's all I'm gonna say. 161 votes. Do you still collect retro games, PS2 era and below? 63%. He hasn't changed. I thought by now, yes, will go down or up to 40 or I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a safe bet that most people don't collect retro games anymore because of the prices. In my chat, at least. Do you collect music CDs? This right here, I don't know if you can see, I think you can. Yeah, there's like 30 of them. That's my entire music CD collection. I used to collect CDs back in the day when I was a teenager. I have some stories that I've told in the past, I think. I used to be the well, back then my dad used to give us, when I was in middle school, he used to give us like, I don't know, a little bit of money, right? So we could use that money to buy lunch at school, okay? And instead of buying lunch, I was always saving up that little money, and weeks later, when I had enough, I used to go to stores to buy a music CD. I was collecting them back then. I was a really big fan. I never got to my collection up to 100 music CDs because, well, in Mexico, people are, I mean, the economy has never been great in this country. Let's leave it at that. So I didn't have a lot of money to buy music CDs galore, but I used to do that. And I did that for many years until I stopped, until I started getting more into video game collecting and book collecting. And I have a book collection. It isn't in this room, it's in another room. I will show it one of these days on my second channel. But eventually I just stuck to video game collecting, and that's where most of my money went. But in reality, you know, I mean, there was a period of my life when I got kind of poor. My economy went to shit, so I had to sell a few of my CDs. Not that many, but some of them. And I never got them back. I think I've gotten like 1 or 2 back. Yeah, throughout the years. And when I was in Canada, I bought a few. In England, maybe just 3 or 4, and that's it. So yeah, that is my entire music CD collection. So the answer is no, I don't collect them, but I kind of would like to go back. Now that I'm barely collecting video games, I only collect the modern ones because they are the only ones that are still cheap. Hence the poll today. I don't collect retro games anymore. Maybe I should start collecting music CDs. But right now I have other economical priorities. Who would you want to direct a new... I missed some question. Oh, you did the same, Lord Kaiser? Oh, you used your launch money to buy the PlayStation. Who would you want to direct a new Final Fantasy mainline? Hironobu Sakaguchi. Just not for phones. He will know what to do. But then Square Enix will probably politicize his ass. And he will be like... he will quit again. I don't know. I would like Square Enix to stop doing Final Fantasy and do something else. Call your fucking game something else, because that's not Final Fantasy. Sell the rights back to Hironobu Sakaguchi. I found some people that said that South America begins from Mexico and below Mexico. No, that's wrong. Mexico is part of North America. North America is pretty much 4 countries. Greenland, Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And that's it. Below Mexico, it's South America. It's pretty much Central America. The islands, the Caribbean islands and everything around them. Cuba and Guatemala. That's Central America. I think South America starts from Venezuela or even below that. I'm pretty sure that Mexico is North America. Did you know a sequel to Star Ocean the Second Story exists on Game Boy Color? Yeah, I've talked about it. I don't think it's gonna get a remake. It's just fan service, you know. If you go and play the game, you only need to play for like 1 hour to realize it's just fan service games for fan service game for Star Ocean 2 fans. I don't think it's gonna get a remaster or anything. Maybe a port one day on the Switch, digital only. I think that's the best we can hope. A remake? I don't think so. It's not like it's a brand new full direct sequel. No, it's just a little sequel spin-off. And it's okay, to be honest. It's okay. It's a good game, but it's nothing special in my opinion. Any thoughts on the potential Zelda live action? I'm not really a Zelda fan, so I have no thoughts on that. I didn't even know it was gonna be a Zelda live action. They're probably gonna fuck it up, like they fuck up every single movie based on video games. And it's gonna be politicized. Mark my words. Link is going to be gay. Zelda is going to be black. And the bad guy, he's probably gonna be played by some Dennis Hopper kind of actor, like he did with the Mario movie 30 years ago. And he's gonna look nothing like the character. Link being gay is gonna be lore accurate. He looks gay as fuck in some of his games, doesn't he? And everybody thinks he's Zelda. Game should be called The Legend of Link. Would you direct a video game if you had to follow BlackRock's ESG guidelines? I don't know what you're talking about. Can you first tell me what BlackRock's ESG guidelines are? I know Dross. Dross Angel Ravilla from Venezuela. He lives in Argentina. I watch his videos. Most of his videos are like he says, they're just there to entertain people, and that's the goal. You know, I never take his videos seriously. I watch them and I'm like, oh, okay, it's interesting. But I love Dross because he's one of the very few extremely big YouTubers out there who actually stands up to the website, who criticizes the website, and who can actually make a difference. People like me, I get shadow banned. They don't give a fuck. They can destroy me like this at any second. But Dross, he's one of the most... I mean, he's a big YouTuber. He had like 23 million subscribers, right? And he's always criticizing cancel culture too, a new world politics, this brave new world we live in. And he often criticizes YouTube, and YouTube has played some really dirt tricks on him too, and he talks about that. And some of his videos, while YouTube still tries to shadow ban those rant videos against YouTube, they still get millions of views. So I feel like people like Dross, no matter what people think about him, because there's a lot of people who think he's just an idiot making shitty content, he does that. And to me, people like him represent extremely oppressed content creators like me. So he's a voice, you know, he's our voice. He and other YouTubers like him. I wish more big YouTubers, you know, started doing the same, like giving YouTube the middle finger and telling them to stop, asking them to stop, like stop doing this, man. You're destroying this website. Anyway, what are some of the less sad Final Fantasy games? Okay, I guess you could go with the first ones. There's barely anything sad in there. I know there's a lot of sadness in 4, 6, definitely, 7, 8. 8 more or less is not that sad, it's more on the romantic side of things. 9 isn't that sad, there's some sadness in there, you know, but it's pretty charming, it's pretty happy, you know. Well, it's a bit of everything in Final Fantasy 9. 10 is definitely sad. 12 is more political, like it's more mature because most of the story was written by Yasumi Matsuno. Tactics Ogre, Final Fantasy Tactics, Ogre Battle, Vagrant Story, that guy. Yeah. 16 has a lot of sadness too. 15, I don't know, I never finished it, I don't give a shit about that game. Same with 13. So I guess 5, it's got some tragedy. I never finished it either, but from what I played, there's barely anything sad in Final Fantasy 5. There is, but I think it's one of the less sad games in Final Fantasy. BlackRock is an investment company that lends money to pretty much all media game developers, but you need to follow their moral guidelines to be eligible. Well, why are you asking me that, man? You know me, you've been a fan for a long time. Is that like a trick question? You know I'm gonna say no. I wouldn't do anything if the company is forcing me to use guidelines. If I ever develop a video game, it's gonna be however the fuck I want. With my own politics and guidelines. No one else's. Final Fantasy VIII is like a Korean love drama. Come on, I think Final Fantasy VIII gets a lot of shit because of that. It is a romantic game and there's a lot of romance drama in there. You know, but there's also a lot of interesting stuff about it too. It's just the main focus of the game is the romance between Squall and Rinoa, but I mean there's a lot to that game too. Final Fantasy VIII gets a lot of undeserved hate. Some of the criticism is valid. I've criticized the game too. I have some kind of love-hate relationship with, but poor Final Fantasy VIII. Have you heard of Asmongold? Never heard of him. Check out the Zelda Link to the Past music. $185 votes. I'm just gonna wait till 200 votes and then I'm gonna end the poll because the answer is crystal clear by now. I don't think 15 people are going to change anything, but still, let's wait until it's 200. But I think the answer is obvious. Yeah, no wonder my video on the top 10 rarest JRPGs so far failed miserably. I was like, okay, people don't give a shit about retro games anymore. Most people. So, yeah. I think he got like 14,000 views. And when I saw that, I was like, man, okay. Videos about retro collecting and rare and holy grails are done. That's sad. Are you gonna get Dragon Quest Monsters, the Dark Prince in December? No, I'm not the biggest Dragon Quest fan. When it comes to Dragon Quest, I like Dragon Quest Heroes. If there's ever gonna be Dragon Quest Heroes 3, I'm definitely gonna be interested. I'm a big fan of the first two. But those are the only spin-offs I care about. Dragon Quest, I'd rather stick to the mainline games and that's it. And plus, Dragon Quest Monsters, while they do have traditional style of gameplay and turn-based combat, they're more on the collecting monster side of thing. And that's like Pokemon to me, and I don't really like that. Which video game OST you listen constantly? I love Doom 2016, Killer Instinct Arcade, UN Squadron, Xenoblade Chronicles. Okay, for me it will be Chrono Cross, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, Chrono Trigger 2, some Final Fantasy games. Yeah. Some Falcom games, some Ys games, some Atlas games, SMT 5, for example. It's a badass soundtrack. Yeah. Persona 4 or 5? 5 to me. Persona 4 is a great game, but it's more in the, I think Persona 3 and 5 are darker, which one of the best things about the Persona series was just that. Sure, there's a lot of darkness in Persona 4, the murder cases and shit, and that's pretty dark. But it's just, I felt 3 and 5 were darker. 2 was the darkest of them all, Eternal Punishment and Innocent Sin. And 4 kind of lost that a little bit. And plus, while I liked some of the characters, there wasn't a single character that I really liked and loved. So I don't know. Plus, it's kind of woke. One of the first woke JRPGs of its time. But I mean, woke or not, you gotta love Kanji. I mean, it's fucking Kanji. I mean, right. And Naoto was a pretty interesting character. In fact, Naoto was my favorite character. Because she was the only one with a brain in there. She was like the smart character, the intellectual character in Persona 4. Great game, Persona 4, but I'm sticking with 5. I find 5 to be the better Persona game. You like SMT 4 Apocalypse better than SMT 4? Yes, I do, because Apocalypse didn't force me to do side quests at the beginning, like revisiting the same dungeon over and over again. I was like, fuck, when is this story gonna pick up? And I lost my patience and I ditched it. I promised myself that I will go back to SMT 4 one of these days, the original. And just be patient, be a little bit more patient until that part is over so I can move on with the main story. But yeah, so far I like Apocalypse more than 4. Watch any good films lately? Not really, I've been watching 24, which is a series with Kiefer Sutherland. It's dumb as fuck, I mean it makes no sense. Classical Hollywood American hero. But he's such an anti-hero too, because he does a lot of reckless things, and he keeps getting arrested and hunted and as a fugitive and whatnot. It's a fucking mess, man. But you gotta take these series and movies for what they truly are. Action Hollywood stuff, you know, you can't take it seriously. And if you don't take 24 that seriously, it's a pretty addictive series to watch, and I like it. With movies, I haven't watched anything interesting lately. When are you gonna give dating advice? Me? You guys should give me dating advice. It definitely needs to be the other way around. We're on the same boat here. Have you used your PS4 since getting the 5? I'll be honest, I haven't. It's down there. Can you see it? No, yeah, maybe you can. It's just down there. It's there. That's my PS4. And it's been there since I got the PS5. Yeah. That's sad. There's just no need for the PS4 anymore. Well, there's one thing about the PS4. You know how the PlayStation support chat is fucking garbage? They make you wait hours, and once they start talking to you, their interface fucks out mysteriously, and they don't do anything. They gotta follow protocol like YouTube support. So a long time ago, I had to create a second account on my PlayStation 4. That was many years ago. Okay, so I forgot the password. And when I transferred everything from my PS4 to my PS5, it did. But I can only play the games from my main account. I can't play the games on my second account. And I tried to recover the password for that account many times on the PlayStation support. It never works. Never. Or like, I'll click on this link. And I click on it, same. And they ask me like, what's your birthday? And oh, probably I made up a birthday for that account. So I don't remember the birthday. So I'm fucked. That account is lost. So, well, on the positive side of things, that gives me a reason to plug in my PS4 every now and then. So I can play all of those PS4 games that are on that account that I can't access on my PlayStation 5.